February 1998, and the Sidmouth lifeboat joined the search for missing fisherman Ian Bagwell. His parents, Stan and Mary, were out searching too.
All the local fishermen were out searching. People were walking along the beach. I went with a friend of mine, walked around Ladram, and that was one of the biggest searches that they'd done in this area.
The Bagwell family was at the heart of the fishing community in Sidmouth. But 20 years ago, their life was about to be turned upside down. This is the story of one family's love and loss.
I first met Stan down here on the beach. I was 16. I was a bit fed up, so I decided to walk across the front. Stan had just come in from the sea, and he just followed me walking up alongside the river.
Well, Mary come up to me and said to me, "Will you marry me?"
No, come on, stop messing around.
It's a long time ago. She was the only one I ever wanted. And I still only want her.
We were walking down Peak Hill, and it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful day. He said, "I want to marry you." He said, "And I'm going to marry you." He never asked me to marry him. He told me.
Well, that's the sort of bloke I was then. But I'm a bit different now.
As a child in the 40s, Stan helped his father row tourists around the famous red stacks of Ladram Bay. When the punters went home, his dad and friends borrowed the tourist boats to go fishing, and young Stan went too. Aged 9, he decided he could do it alone.
I went out in all the pot on my own. Anyway, when I took it in, it was undersized, see? So I showed Dad, he said, "You can't keep that one, it's too small." So I thought, well, I'm going to bloody throw it away. So I put the lobster in, and of course, my weight was carrying me over, and I went over the side down to the seabed. And when I come up, the boat was from down there where those people are. And I had to swim over to it to get him back in. And when I got back in, they said, "By God, it's been raining out there." And then I said, "Yeah, 20 foot down."
The schoolboy dreamed of going to Brixham to work on the trawlers. But his mother warned his dad had never made a penny from fishing. She told him to work as a builder.
I just had it in me. There's no two ways about it. I had to go to sea. I used to be on the buildings by day and at sea all night. I used to get some lovely lobsters out here, like, just straight out here.
By the time Stan married Mary, he was on to his third boat. A few years later, with 3 small children, and Stan shattered from driving all hours to sell their catch, they decided to build their own fishmongers.
I had to learn how to fillet fish, how to dress a crab. And really, the dressing of the crab was a bit of a learning curve. I had 3 small children under 4. It was pretty tough going sometimes, but we managed. We got there. We were always very positive about what we were doing.
While Mary was busy in the shop, Stan and his brother Graham were always out at sea.
They did all the fishing together. They did potting, they did mackerel seining, they did tripping together. Oh, Stan had a passion for his boats. He loved his boats. He couldn't wait to get a bigger boat because that meant he could do more fishing. And it was all a drive to earn more money so that he wouldn't have to go back through to the poverty that his parents endured.
Stan was the first to use a mechanised winch on Sidmouth Beach, and the first to try whelking, using the family's favourite boat, the Martha D.
She was in lovely shape, and she was the most wonderful boat I've ever had. Martha D is after my mother.
She was very heavy to work, and she'd be a bit stubborn some mornings. They wouldn't be able to get her off the beach. She'd sort of dig her heels in and not go. The Martha D became quite famous. People would come and watch her come in. She was on loads of postcards and photographs of her all around the world. She was very special to Stan, very special to the family.
While Lynn worked with horses, the other 2 children drifted into the family business. Kay joined her mother in the fish shop, and Ian did what his father wanted to do at 16. He went to Brixham to learn to be a trawlerman.
Ian always knew that he would go fishing, because he wasn't an academic. And when he was little, all he wanted to read was books about fishing. It was a bit of a love-hate relationship for him, because he used to get seasick as well. And he passed his skipper's ticket just before his 21st birthday. He was the youngest skipper in the country at the time. By that time, he'd met his wife, Debbie, on the beach at Sidmouth, and she helped him.
Ian gradually took over the family trawler, fishing out of Brixham, where he lived with his wife and 3 children. By the 90s, with 2 trawlers, 2 fish shops, and 3 boats still working off the beach in Sidmouth, the business Stan built from scratch was thriving. Stan and Mary remember life as crazily busy, with some of the happiest times when they all went fishing together.
Marvellous day it was. Lovely lot of fish too.
Then, the morning after they celebrated Stan's 60th birthday, he saw his son off to sea.
I went down and seen him that morning at Brixham before he went. So I went and got a bottle of milk, and of course, then he steamed away. It was 2.5 hours steam up to the crab ground.
The first we knew there was anything wrong that day was I had a phone call at home. The Coast Guard had heard from the Marines that there was a boat come ashore at Budleigh Salterton. The engine was still running. Debbie got a phone call saying that Ian was not on the boat. And then there was a massive search started. The Sidmouth lifeboat was out. All the local fishermen were out searching. You know, really, almost immediately. It isn't. You've always got hope. I mean, the chances of him being able to survive in the sea in February for any length of time is quite minimal. So you know, you can search and search, but you know that it's not going to be a happy outcome.
Anyway, I rung him up about 12 o'clock and I couldn't get nobody, and I just collapsed on the office floor. I knew then.
You never get over it. It's important to remember, but it's also teaches you to understand other people's suffering. There are so many mothers have lost sons and daughters. You understand.
Only 10 days after Ian was lost at sea, the family suffered a second devastating blow.
Stan didn't communicate. He just literally shut down. He had to start picking up the threads of life.
So the family persuaded Stan to collect some lobster pots from his brother's boat in Exmouth.
And he just went straight over the quay onto Graham's boat, smashed his head on the handle of the hatchway. He was in intensive care for about 10 days. But he always insisted that he was going to get back, always insisted, I'm going back to sea, I'm going back. But he never did, no. I was in a state of shock. I don't think I felt anything. I didn't have a clue what the future held for us. But I knew Stan would need care. Kay, by that time, was a single parent, and she got 2 small boys to look after. And she knew she was going to have to keep going. She opened up the shop and she took the brunt of it. Lynn realised that she was going to have to support Kay, so she started going down the market and buying. It was a bit of out of her comfort zone, but she stood her ground and they learnt to respect her.
Through seriously tough times, the women kept things going. The family boats never went to sea again. But today, Mary, her daughter Kay, and grandson Ryan work in the fish shop together. And Ryan occasionally hitches a ride on someone else's boat, just like his grandfather used to. And Stan pops around most days to check up on things before heading out to gaze at his beloved sea.
Well, the sea's got so many moods. You can be out there one day and it can be a little bit shuffly. Then another day you could have a big swell and still breaking, and that's another story again. People have said to me, don't you ever get fed up with it? But I loved it even then, and I still love it, even though I lost my son. I've had a lot of adventures in my life. Oh, we've had some fun, I'll tell you.